All right, it's Flippin' Friday, everybody, and this is a collaboration with Board and Bananas. Now, I got this piece at Goodwill for $2.99 and it was 75% off. I think it was for wine bottles and wine glasses, but I'm just going to go ahead, take it apart, clean it up, and just make a lazy Susan out of it. Real simple, real easy, and probably a record for me. It's under 10 minutes. So, um, just to let you know a little bit about the collaboration, it is with Board and Bananas, and you guys really need to go check her channel out. She's got some awesome DIYs, awesome videos, and you don't want to miss out on the playlist either. So I'll definitely link her channel and the playlist in the description box. So be sure to check them out. And if you're new here, welcome. Thank you for joining. If you're here from the collaboration, thanks for coming by. I hope you stick around and subscribe and like this video because things are getting interesting around here. I got lots and lots and lots of stuff from Goodwill and Dollar Tree and Facebook Marketplace that I'm going to be redoing, and just got a lot of stuff coming up, so you definitely want to stick around. Now, my videos are a little bit awkward sometimes, but hey, they're reality. You see little fingers sometimes. You never know what you're going to get. So hopefully you guys stick around, you like what you see, and you become part of my crazy little family. So here I am just cleaning it all off because it was pretty dusty, pretty dirty. And I just took some cleaner, some antibacterial cleaner, and sprayed it on the towel and cleaned it up. And I was going to sand it down, but I really liked the wood color of it. So I just kind of let it be, and I figured it's going to just be natural. I took some spackle. I was going to put some wood putty in there, but I could not find it. So we just took some spackle, stuck it in those holes, filled them in, and called it a day. And that worked fine. I was able to, paint over it a little bit with some Waverly wax, the antique wax, and it blended right in. So I was happy with it. So I just went ahead and put that on there and wiped off the excess that was on there with the rag and let it dry while I put the stencil on. Now, I don't use stencils very often. If anything, I'll either use my Cricut or use stickers or something like that. Now, I do use stencils occasionally, but not that often. So I got this at a garage sale. It wasn't $3, it was 10 cents. And I've never heard of, I think it's called Chalk Couture. Yeah, it's called Chalk Couture. I had never heard of it, and I just saw the stencil, liked what it said, so I grabbed it and didn't pay attention to the whole Chalk Couture thing. But a friend of mine recently told me that there's like a special paint or whatever that you use with these stencils. I don't have any special paint, so I'm just going to use there was this acrylic paint that I picked up from Michael's a while ago. I had it in a haul, and I decided to just go ahead and use it. It's like an Art C brand, and it's Ultra Chalk soft matte paint, and I used the white one. I got it in a couple different colors, and this is my first time using it. So we'll see what it comes out like and go from there. Usually I'm pretty happy with the way things turn out. So if I like it, I'll keep it, and if not, we'll make it into something else. But that's the paint that I'm using, and I think it worked out pretty well. It was kind of different because it came in this little pen, and I was just going to do this, what you see me doing, and then take a stencil brush and do that, but it wasn't working. So I decided to switch over to a makeup sponge, and at first I was dabbing it on there, but then as I went on, it was easier to just like smooth it on there. And then after I did this video, I looked up Chalk Couture, and apparently that's how you do it anyway. You slide the chalk paint, the special paste paint, whatever it is that they use, you like swipe it on there, slide it on there instead of like dabbing it on there. So maybe that's why it worked. I don't know. Now there was a lot of bleed through, and I don't think it was so much because of the stencil. I think it was because of the indentations in the wood, or like the knots in the wood. They kind of bled through into the knots, not so much like from the stencil. So that wasn't anybody's fault. It just kind of happened. So it wasn't a big deal. I took a Q-tip afterwards and just cleaned it up, and I think it looks perfect. So here I am, just trying to make sure that I get full coverage on there. Trying to make sure all the little corners are painted in, and then I just pulled it off. And like I said, I noticed some bleeding, but I don't think it was so much because of the stencil as it was because of all the knots in the wood. It kind of bled through the little knots. And so I took my heat gun and just kind of sped up the drying process there a little bit, and voila, I think it looks perfect. Now I did lose some footage, like I said. So what I did was I added another little leaf to the top because I felt like that top right side was a little bit too empty for me. I first went in with the sponge brush thinking that I could clean it up that way, and yeah, that didn't work too well. So I went and I got some Q-tips and wet them a little bit, and I cleaned it up that way, and that worked out really well. So I was able to get rid of a lot of the bleeding, and you can see it there on the word things and thanks. Those were the two that the worst. Now I don't know if it's because they were cursive, or I'm really not sure why those were the worst, but there was a lot of knots in the wood right in those sections, and that's where all the bleeding happened. So again, I think that's the only reason that they bled. So like I said, I took this Q-tip and just cleaned it out. It was a little tedious. It took me a while, but I was able to clean it up and get it all nice and pretty. And again, I added another little leaf. I just took this corner of the stencil, put it back on there, and I was able to put another leaf on there. There it is. And then I took the Waverly wax paint after I got it all cleaned up, and I just covered up the parts that had the putty on it and decorated it, and that was it for this one. This was probably my easiest, quickest flip I've ever done, and I love it. I couldn't be happier with it. And someday I may sand it down and put something else on there, who knows, but right now I like the way it looks. And it's not just, I didn't put the leaves. The stencil had leaves on it, which I thought was just a little bit too fall, and I love fall, but I want this to be out more year round. So I figured this was pretty universal, pretty all year, decor. So I like it. And this is, the way that I cleaned up the Q-tip. I just, like I said, just went in there and it cleaned it all up. And I really like it. And I've got so many pieces that I want to flip or redo or whatever that I've picked up at thrift stores. And finally, all my local resale shops are open. So shopping is coming. And this is what it turns out like, and I love it. So subscribe, like, and be the reason someone smiles. Bye.